Alright, I'm FLDV93, and yeah, like I said was just a few minutes ago, today is going to be another doubleheader. But this time, I want to at least tackle Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy. I'll be quite honest, I'll say this as a spoiler, the game's music is terrible. It is just flat out terrible. But, yeah, I'll at least just say the main plot. Dr. Wily stole a time machine called the Time Skipper that allows you to travel back in time, basic time machine, past, present, future, all that stuff. And what he did, he wanted to at least get back some of the bots that he built in the past to make sure he erases his previous defeats. Kind of like what Eggman did with the Time Stones and what he did with the Time Eater. Excuse me. But, from what I've known of, Wily only did timeout travel stuff only once, and that was only within this game. And, yeah, I'm sorry for at least subjecting you to the bad stage select music. It's not going to get any better, I will be honest with you that right now, but at least with my voice, you won't have to at least suffer with how bad this noise is, I'll be quite honest. But, like last time, we have 4 Robot Masters to go through, all within Mega Man 2. Clash Man, Metal Man, Airman, and Woodman. Let's go with Metal Man first, because it's always Metal Man. What new to this game, and within every other game within the Mega Man Game Boy ports, is the slide. You still jump, you still shoot, but you now have the slide, and Mega Man just looks really scrunched up. And, oh, whoops. Huh. Oh! Okay. I know within this one, Rush is introduced, because it introduces stuff from Mega Man 3. But, unlike every other classic game that has Rush in it, you don't get the Rush coin in the beginning. You get it as a weapon from beating a boss. Which boss? I do not know. Ow. Let's just go on to with Metal Man. Ow. Okay. Oh boy. This game's music will not get any better. I'm very sorry for subjecting you to this, but it at least is a good trivia piece, you know? It's like, oh hey, how did they do Mega Man 2? I mean, Mega Man 2 is flat out one of the best games ever made, and just flat out everyone's favorite Mega Man game. How did they do that? I'm pretty sure there's a good reason why people only talk about the NES or the Wily Wars iteration for Mega Man 2. Because this really isn't anyone's favorite that they'll be clinging on back to. But in regards to the other entries, people will at least go for the rest of the Game Boy games. Like for those that want some more Mega Man goodness. They'll probably go for 3, 4, and 5. And honestly, I'd agree with them. 3, 4, and 5 are just really where it's at for prime Mega Man stuff on the Game Boy on the go. Because at this time, the Game Boy was doing gangbusters. Like, yeah, Sega at the time had their own version of the Game Boy where, oh, it had color, a backlit screen, two of which Nintendo did not do until the Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, they did do color for the Game Boy Advance, but there is no backlit screen. And so you had to rely on natural sunlight or another source of light to help you get light. You know? Yeah. Oh, come on! But yeah, with the Game Boy Advance, you actually had to rely on actual sunlight or another source of light to help you out to play the games. And because of that, it was kind of the issue of trying to get what you wanted to get, of trying to play games during times where it wasn't really daylight outside. But yeah, although Sega did do the whole backlight screen and gameplay in color thing way in advance, the issue came with battery life. Because although Sega did it first, it does not mean they did it the best, you know? Their battery life is like 2 to 3 hours. That's pretty paltry. And what makes it worse for the Game Gear was that it itself took a lot more batteries than the Game Boy did. If I recall, Game Boy takes like 2, maybe 4 batteries. The Game Gear takes a lot more batteries than that. So, while Sega was touting, oh, it has a lot more color, it has all these fancy things, it did not do the whole thing the best. Like, I've done the research on that, and oh boy, yeesh. What a mess, I tell you. And that was also Metal Man. Same exact fight as it was within the NES release. Conveyor belts, Metal Man throws the metal blades, and all that. Oh, what did they do to you, Mega Man 3 Weapon Select, Weapon Obtain Music, and the Rush Marine? Oh, my ears. Okay, pretty sure both of those weapons are the exact same, where the metal blade is still just the same busted thing, and Rush Marine just lets you navigate underwater. Because the weaknesses are all rearranged, I think some Robot Masters are going to be weak to some other weapons, but if you know your Mega Man 2 stuff, then there is a very good chance Woodman will be weak to the Metal Blade. But yeah, with the Game Gear, I actually did some research because I felt, okay, maybe some of the exaggerations for the Game Gear are a little overdone, you know? Nope, not in this case. No! They were right on the money with that one, because, oh my god, how can you take that much batteries and have a shorter runtime battery life than the Game Boy? It really just goes to show that just because you did something first does not mean you did it the best. Because the Game Gear is living, breathing proof of that. Oh, whoops. And here we are with Woodman stage. Well, at least the Rush Marine will at least get some use. Because within this section, sure, it has some challenge, but at least with the Rush Marine, you could bypass all this. Which kinda makes going with Metal Man the first and best choice for all of this. I hear you asking, oh my god, wow, oh, Jacob G-Force. Hello, Jacob G-Force. You may be asking, oh wow, this is good crunchy music. Oh man, I love this crunchy, bastardized music for Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy. A hood classic for a video game. Little fun fact, Capcom outsourced the audio music to a company called Biox Company Limited. And their only work for Capcom was this game. So you have them to thank for this whole thing. For Biox, I believe they're called Thinking Rabbit. And let me at least see if Thinking Rabbit is still alive and kicking to this day. Let me see. Thinking Rabbit. Let's see here. According to the Wikipedia. Huh. Found it, blah blah blah. Not much from what I can find, because it's all just things and games found with the 80s and 90s, actually. Thinking, looking... Oh! I guess they're still kind of there. Oh, I think the latest that they had gotten was just the PlayStation. Because I'm looking at stuff from their wiki. They debuted in 1982. And, oh boy. If Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy was anything to go by, I mean, maybe it was just a bad snafu on their end, but yikes, honestly. Because with Biox Company Limited, aka Thinking Rabbit, I honestly feel Capcom made the right choice, and going back to the previous people that they've had for music choice, which was Minakuchi Engineering. Minakuchi Engineering was actually in charge of the Mega Man Game Boy games for music, which was what we've heard in the previous game for the first one, and they'll be the same exact people that Capcom went to for music for the rest of the games, which should be for Mega Man 3, 4, and 5 on the Game Boy. And, honestly... not the best option! It was not Biox's best day, I will be honest. Because from what they've made for X3 wasn't half bad. Because the X3 soundtrack ain't half bad. It ain't half bad. But for this, they must have had a really, really not so good day. Because X3 was made after this game, and yikes, not the best music, I will be fair, I'll be completely honest. Thankfully with the Metal Blade it tears through this stage, and it'll at least tear through Woodman, which makes the experience a lot better for me. Woodman just does the same exact thing. Done. Done. And my goodness, that Metal Blade tore through Woodman like nothing. And there is no difficulty selection for this game. You just boot up the game, and it is what it is. Thankfully with Metal Man, the Rush Marine clears out that underwater section, which at least gives Rush Marine something for use. And Metal Blade just tears to Woodman like it's nothing. So with Mega Man 2 logic, Airman is next, and then going to Airman is Crashman, and then we just go to Wily. Ugh. Let me see here. Yep. Unlike Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy, on the NES, I kinda want to at least get through this game just to breeze through it, honestly. Because it's not that the game is bad for gameplay stuff. I honestly feel the game could be a little easy, if you know what you're doing. Like, sure, Mega Man is known for its challenge, but I feel this is more baby's first Mega Man game. Where there's some challenge, but it's not the well-known challenge, you know? Like, it's not the well-known, oh, get good, scrub, get good with the patterns, and then you get better kind of game, you know? It's like, you see a bit of challenge, but then, no. Thankfully with the Metal Blade, it still is the exact same of how it ran with the NES run, aka busted weapon in the game, you don't use much weapon ammo, and it's a godsend within this game. And Jacob GeForce, you're very welcome for me recognizing you. Not my best. But you know what, I can still at least breeze through this game, because I feel this game isn't too challenging. Because I just have to not be uber reckless, honestly. And thankfully, I'm not on my last life, so that at least helps. And with how busted Metal Blade is, I don't think I'll be running out of weapon ammo anytime soon. But yeah, back to you, Jacob G-Force. Yes, you're very welcome for the research within this. Because I knew the music for 2 was not super good. I know that for a fact. I just thought it was Capcom's not-so-good day, but they just went with a different bunch of people. They went with a different bunch of people for their game. And because of that, Capcom never really used this again, maybe until X3 or something, or a different staff. Yeah, Capcom never really went with this company again. Ow! Yeah, Capcom never really went with these people again, all that much because of how bad the music is, and I don't blame them. Like, they tried. I will not deny them and not give them their flowers for them trying. The problem is that said effort is not very good. You're flat out you are honestly better off just listening to the OG NES remakes or the Wily Wars remix of these songs. And here we are with Airman. Same thing with Airman, except this time we can at least slide underneath the Airman. Okay, what the hell? I'm very sorry for the yelling, but what the hell, Airman? Usually it doesn't take that many hits, but if you have the weakness to a boss, you breeze through them like butter. You just cut through them like butter. Jacob G-Force, as for the battery for the Wii, it's not bad. It's not bad compared to the Game Gear. Because, my goodness, the Game Gear eats up your batteries like no tomorrow. Because it's a shame. It is a goddamn shame. It's really a big shame for the Game Gear. Because if Sega... Oh, Clashman. Not Crashman, Clashman. And when I mean Clashman, I mean, oh my god, this music clashes with what this game is. There are some tracks that are decent. Like, very decent at best. Like, you could at least see with, if you manage to fix up the pitch or something, you could have some good music within this game. But not in this case, sadly. Also, I said Clashman because the game calls him Clashman, but he's actually Crashman. For some reason, this game and this game alone messed up with the spelling of Crashman, so he is now Clashman. And so going forth, because it is this game and this game alone, I shall be calling him Clashman. But yeah, Jacob G-Force with the whole battery thing. The Wii is no Game Gear. It is no Game Gear in terms of hocking up your batteries. Because the Wii took up maybe like 2 AA batteries? The Game Gear took up more. Like flat out, I could just look up this stuff now for Game Gear battery stuff. Let's see, Game Gear batteries. Okay, the Game Gear uses 6 AA batteries. I'm flat out serious. It takes 6 AA batteries. It takes 6 AA batteries and has 3 to 5 hours for battery life. Whereas the Game Boy takes up maybe 20 to 30 hours of pure battery time and runs on 4 AA batteries. So, you could save yourself 2 more AA batteries. Oh, my mistake, yeah. It still runs in the same amount of AA batteries? My mistake, I'm very sorry. Game Boy runs on 30 hours on 4 AA batteries, while the Game Gear runs 3 to 5 on 6 AA batteries. So if you're a parent in the 90s, I'm pretty sure your children will not like it if they're playing in, oh, baby black and white stuff. Oh, why is mom and dad giving me a black and white Game Boy? You could flat out explain to them, or at least you could just tell people, nowadays, Sega fumbled the ball bad with the Game Gear, because the Game Boy can run a lot longer with less batteries. I'm dead serious. Ow. But yeah, with the Game Gear and its batteries, not super good. And it's a damn shame for the Game Gear, because if I'm not mistaken, Sega really tried to push the Game Gear to have a lot more fancy features to beat the Game Boy. Like, I will not deny Sega to give them their flowers. I will not deny them that. But I will point out of how badly they fumbled this whole attempt. Because you can't really have Sega without fumbling up some kind of console release. Unless if you're the Genesis. Then you had a very fantastic run, with very little system fuck-ups in any way, shape, or form. And what we got ourselves was an E-Tank, and E-Tanks kind of just run the same exact function the exact same way. You're low on health, use an E-Tank to restore all of your health. I know, Mega Man. Won't be that much longer either. Clashman functions the exact same way. Weak to the air tornado. Oh, wow, I ran out of air tornado, of air shooter. But that does not matter. That does not matter with Clashman, because I shall be getting Clashman's weapon. Okay, we got the Clash Bomb, because Crashman is nowhere to be seen for some reason. And I think that's the Rush Coil. And on to Wily's Fortress. And... yep. We go down. And we encounter Wily. Nowhere to run, Wily. Let's end this once and for... Trap floor. Yep, trap floor. Hold on, that's Clashman. Oh, the Rush Jet! Oh, and Rush Coil. I think I got the Rush Coil from one of the other bosses. I'm not sure, but I also got the Rush Jet, which should at least help. And another 4 stages, so that should at least be another rematch. Oh, okay. One thing that's unique... well, the one thing that Mega Man 2 did that the other games have done since then was that the next batch of Robot Master bosses that you go through are not rematches, but flat out their own stages, basically. And if I'm not mistaken, this should be Hardman stage. It's either Hardman or Needleman, because Hardman goes for more jungle-based, or if I'm not mistaken. This should be Needleman. This should be Needleman, and I at least got myself another E-Tank, which helps. Ah, gotcha. Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy was released in 1991. From what my research can at least pick up. Come on. Go away, monkey. Ow. Come on, ow. Okay, I can at least show off what the Rush Jet looks like. Rush Jet functions the exact same way as it was in Mega Man 3. on the NES, where you could flat out move it in all 8 directions as freely as you wanted it to. Between of how RushJet functions in 3 and this game, and on top of every other game, I'm a bit I kinda actually like of how it controlled within this game and within 3, because of how many directions and how freely you could maneuver Rush. But I'm not gonna cry and, cry over spilled milk because of how they changed the control of RushJet for this game, for every other Mega Man game, basically. Because I feel it's fine. It is completely fine of how it controls. It's just a more personal thing that I go for. Oh! Not gonna lie, I really thought that was Needleman because Hardman is more mountaintop from what I saw with the Mega Man 3. I never really expected much. I never really expected Hardman to be the industrial city setting. Because Hardman is more... Like, you look at Hardman from Mega Man 3, and it's more... mountain wilderness thing, And Hardman functions the exact same way as he was with the NES release. Like, exact same way for the NES release. Like, he shoots 2 hard knuckles, he jumps up and dives down. And when he dives down, it's more of a shockwave that impacts, so you have to be careful. And with Hardman, I'm not sure which one will be Top Man, because... oh! Magnet Man, okay. Alright. It may not be Top Man for the weakness, but fighting Magnet Man should not be such a hassle. It won't be such a hassle. One con to these Robot Master stages, even when they're still flat-out stages, your weapon energy does not get restored. So you have to be conservative with the usage. Disappearing block, don't really need it, because this gap is pretty much big enough for you to just go across it just fine. Come on. Oh, yeah, within this game for the little missiles, you can't really shoot them for some odd reason. Also, Jacob GeForce, you're very welcome for the whole research thing, because I felt I wanted to at least do a little research on the game that I'm actually just doing at the moment, to give some good old-fashioned flavor text, Other than me just rambling about my experiences, I wanted to at least give some history for those that don't know about it, Have some people enjoy what this game is made out of, and what it's made of, and what led to this game of how it is. I could do the block puzzle fair and square, but with how this game's music is... No thank you. No thank you indeed. No thank you. Alright, time for a bit more RushJet. And it's the RushJet that just lets you just go in every direction possible. These vents work the same exact way for Magnet Man stage, where it just sucks you in, and it just makes traversing a bit of a challenge, but no thank you. Ow. Okay, I want to actually go down there because there are some hidden stuff. There are some weapon energy and whatnot that I really want to get my hands on. Particularly more Metal Blade, an E-Tank, and some weapon health, because that's much appreciated and much needed. Ow. But yeah, I'm always happy to at least look up some research on the game, basically, because it's no skin off my back, honestly, just to do some spare research for this whole thing. I may not have Metal Man's weakness, but it doesn't make much of a difference because Magnet Man really is not that much of a big difficult boss to do Buster only. Because Magnet Man works the exact same way as he does with his NES counterpart, where he hops around. At the apex of his jump, he shoots magnet missiles, or he attracts you in like a magnet. And from there you just shoot him with either the Buster, or use his weakness. Time to use an E-Tank, because I think you have 5. Because from what I'm seeing from the sprites, it seems to at least be 5 max for E-Tanks. Like, this boss fight music, it's fine, but if someone actually just, like, but if it had more time to cook, it'd be a fine game. Like, not the best, like the most hood classic Mega Man, but it would be a just fine game. Literally just fine. Okay, I got the magnet missile, that at least helps. Which would have helped out against Hard Man, though. But what are you gonna do? You know, can't really do much. Okay, now I'm against Top Man. Ow. And ow, again. Like, Top Man's music, it's good within the NES portion, but oh my goodness. Like, let's just get this over with. I should not be able to phase through that disappearing block. I really should not be able to do that. But it's whatever. It is a giant whatever. Let's just do it. And we be done with this. We fill up on Metal Blade. Because that is a saving grace for this game. Extra life, saving grace. But yeah, with these stages, but with this batch of Robot Master stuff, you get a full-blown stage of what they have for the Robot Master itself, ending in a fight against the boss itself. And that was Rush Coil. Gonna stick with the Metal Blade, because I want this thing to be deadly done with. Like, the music itself, if it had more time to cook, then I feel it would have been good. It would not have been a total audio eyesore, from what I feel could have been. Like, if the bosses didn't go down that easily with their weaknesses, then yeah, you could at least have a decent Mega Man game. Like, not the best, but a decent one. Like, a decent Mega Man game is better than what we have here. And we are at Top Man stage. Oh, Top Man as the boss fight. That's what I mean. We are about to fight Top Man. Same exact weakness as before. Hard Knuckle. Top Man functions the same exact way. Top Man shoots tops that hum towards you, then he spins, going from one end of the stage to another. When he spins, he is invulnerable, meaning you have to wait until he finishes spinning for you to hit him, and then, like that. 4 hits with the Hard Knuckle, and he goes down. And you get the top spin. topspin works the exact same way as it does with the original release. Okay, now here's Needleman. Now here's Needleman. Because I did not think Hardman, because I didn't think the whole city thing was for Hardman. Because Needleman fits more of a cityscape. You know? Because I was thinking more mountaintop for Hardman. But I guess not. But at least we're at the final portion of the Mega Man 3 Robot Masters. Because what the Mega Man Game Boy games do most of the time, up until the 5th game, where it does something different that I'll unveil going forward with Mega Man 5 when I get to it, is that it mixes Robot Masters from two Mega Man games. Mega Man 1 on the Game Boy did 4 of the Robot Masters, excluding Guts and Bomb Man, and then it just used 4 of the Robot Masters from Mega Man 2, which was just Quick Man, Flash Man, Bubble Man, and Heat Man. This game, it uses the rest of the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters, and half of the Mega Man 3 stage bosses. And then so on and so forth for Mega Man 3 and 4. It's just going to combine 4 bosses, and then it'll combine to the standard of 8. But what I actually like for what they did, which was unique, was that you actually have to think on your feet to see which Robot Master will be weak to their new weakness. Some Robot Masters will be weak to the exact same weapon, like with Woodman being weak to Metal Man, but since there's no Heat Man, you could still use that whole thing. With Woodman being weak to the Metal Blades. With Needleman, I'm not sure if he'll be weak to the top spin. We could at least try to see... Oh, he is! Oh, yeah. Yep. Needleman's new weakness, because Gemini Man is not within this game, Needleman is weak to the top spin. And we got the Needle Cannon. Not a bad weapon, I'll be honest. Oh. New to this game is a new Mega Man boss. It's not a Mega Man killer, but it's actually just known that it's Mega Man from the future. What Wily did, other than just manipulating time to get the old Robot Masters back, is that he went into the future to kidnap a future version of Mega Man who still looked the same, and then he manipulated him into becoming Quint. Sadly for Quint, when all he does, he jumps on a pogo stick and just hops from side to side. Really easy. And you get the Sakugarne. The Sakugarne is exactly what Quint uses, a pogo stick. Not an evil version of Rush, not another evil animal or whatever to parallel with Rush. No, it is just the pogo stick. And since it's a unique Mega Man boss on the Game Boy, we have to use the Sakugarne on Wily, on his final mech. Thankfully, this is the final stage. And with all the clocks going around, you can actually see that it was just a plot about time travel. Alright, now with everything gotten, let's just go with the Metal Blade and beat this old Wily scheme of world domination, shall we? Oh, even the block puzzles are easy. At least the block puzzles are like, yeah, you at least been through enough. Huh? Oh. Oh, I thought that was the pit for a second. No, that was just needing to go down. That is my bad. This final stage music is just the title screen music, basically. I get using it like a nice wraparound, because it is nice and triumphant, because you're stopping Wily from using a flat-out time machine to rule the world and messing with time and whatnot. But, yeah. And I only just used the rewind thing like once on my Switch, but I feel if you know what you're doing, you can break this game in half. This is just baby's first Mega Man. Although I will at least say, they're giving Rush Marine a lot more use within this game than every other NES game Rush Marine has ever been in. Because Rush Marine, within Mega Man 3 and 4, only got like small, paltry uses. Like, yeah, there was a bit of use here and there for 3 and 4, but it wasn't flat out a necessity or a benefit to using Rush Marine. Like, it was there for the sake of it being there. But, you know, at least it's there. But at least it did something for Rush Marine. It did something for it to make it feel a lot more useful, a lot more of a benefit for helping you to beat this game. Ugh. Well, at least there's challenge with all this. But because we have the Metal Blade, this tears what little challenge this game has into mincemeat. I think we'll just go with the Metal Blade, because I think for the final portion of the Wily machine, just goes with Metal Blade or some other weapon or whatever. Let's see, Metal Blade doesn't work, so let's at least... Yep. And also, with where you have to hit Wily, that small, tiny little Wily pixel. Yep. That teensy tiny little Dr. Wily pixel. Ow. Thankfully, I have enough E-tanks to at least help me out in a pinch. I got 4 E-tanks, so let's do this, Wily. I can do this all day. Ow. Alright. SG should be the Saku Garne. Because this should be the weakness for the final Wily boss. Yep. Okay. Any day now, Wily. Okay. Another retank. To down. Huh. And here I thought the Sakugarne was the one-stop thing that could take down Wily, but the Buster's doing a bang-up job. Flat out just Buster only with this whole thing, but because I want to at least show it off, I'll at least finish Wily off with the Sakugarne. And there we go. And people say the top spin is worthless. At least the top spin has something. The Sakugarne is a pogo stick. It is a flat-out pogo stick. You couldn't have done something cooler with this, Wily. But as Wily goes off, we shoot a missile to stop his escape. Shoot down his aircraft. And Wily goes down. Yep. Oh, wow. And here I thought I'd actually take more time just to beat Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy. But no, not in this case. 'Cause 45 minutes in, and I beat the game. Flat out, just game is now beaten. At the very least, for this game, it at least gives off the same unique credits scene of just saying what the enemy's name is, and then from there, it'll just say the boss's name. But I feel Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy the worst one out of the bunch. 1 is fine. I feel 1 is fine for what it did. It has that whole first game syndrome thing of trying to squeeze in Mega Man into a classic Game Boy experience. But at least it had good music to at least get you by. This, I feel, decent at best, is what I could at least describe for the soundtrack. Because Capcom had outsourced the music to a different company, and then went back to the same old one that they had for the first game for the rest of the Game Boy launch lineup, basically. At least with the plot, Wily using a time machine is cool, but the main con is that if you didn't have a Game Boy at the time, and were just using, it was just flat out playing the game as it is on the 3DS when it came out on the eShop, or you just flat out saw the game on your Nintendo Switch for the Game Boy lineup, you would not know this was a plot about time travel. You would just assume this was just another Wily scheme. Nope, within the final stage, it flat out just says Wily's intentions. Time travel. Wily's stealing a time machine to take over the world and mess with time. That was his main hook this whole time. That I feel is a good attempt. This game, however, not the best. Not the best, I will flat out say. Yeah, it is not the best game, honestly. But, however, at least 45 minutes in, and for people who are fans of Mega Man, you can break the game in half. Flat out, if you know what the Robot Master weaknesses are, and start using said weaknesses, you can tear into this game like nothing else. Flat out. Like, I'm pretty sure if I had Metal Man's weakness, I would take him on and beat him even quicker than what I had with my initial attempt. Honestly, if someone actually ported, or at least remade Mega Man 2 Game Boy, I feel this would actually just be an easy thing to do. Like, just give a bit more challenge, a bit more oomph to the game, and just make the music not horrible. You'd be fine. Like, it would not be a hard thing to surpass, in all honesty. And, yep, like I said, flat out, it's just doing the whole thing as the first game, where it just states the enemy names and the boss names. And that's the boss's name, Quint, a Mega Man from the future. Unfortunately, with Quint's existence is kind of retconned because we have Mega Man X, an official Mega Man made from the future, made by Dr. Light. So Quint is just kind of stuck within the classic series, being a prototype for a classic Mega Man, but nah, not really. Because we have Mega Man X, who is just an objectively better futuristic Mega Man. Thank you for playing, presented by Capcom. Yep. Honestly, I kind of breezed through the game when it first released on the 3DS. And the 3DS did not even have a rewind feature like the Switch had. And even if I didn't even use the rewind feature, I would still blow through this game like nothing. I feel this game's challenge is just baby's first Mega Man, where it has the challenge, but it's not gonna make you pull your hair out, you know? Because you can tear through some of the bosses with the Buster with ease, but what the weakness is, it's nothing. It's a non-challenge, it's a non-issue, if I'll be quite honest. And Quint is just a sad future attempt at a future version of Mega Man. Like, there is no Rush incarnation, there is no Rush parallel. It is just Pogo Stick. A literal Pogo Stick. And that's kind of sad, honestly. But, at the very least, we're done with Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy. And next time, we'll be taking on Mega Man 3 on the Game Boy. Thankfully with much better music and much better presentation. And at least with the slide, it doesn't make Mega Man look scrunched up, like, oh my goodness, what happened to you, Mega Man? Time travel was not kind to you with sliding. Made you look really scrunched up there, guy. But, at the very least, this was Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy, so you could at least know of how the game plays, and tear through the game like nothing. Half an hour, tops. You wouldn't even be wasting the battery life on the Game Boy. Like it's just, ooh, Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy. Hour tops. Like, maybe an hour 10 tops. You'd beat this game. And then you'd be bored out of your skull. Wondering what happened with the music, what happened with the challenge? But at least Capcom made 3 other games, so that way it's not the last one. Anyway, this has been FODV93, and this has been your double header stream for the day. Thank you.